Whatever you do, do not buy a Lamborghini if you're poor. Let me explain what I mean by that. This is a 2021 Lamborghini Urus, and we got this thing certified, which is probably the only way I'd buy something like this. It's only for 1 year, so we get 1 year warranty on engine, transmission. It's pretty much a comprehensive warranty. And so you guys know, if you're looking to buy a high performance car, it has like high performance things. For example, it's gonna have big brakes. These brakes are $28,000. If you wanna get an oil change done, figure about 800 bucks all in. And because this does have staggered wheels, you're only doing rotation side to side, so it's not a big deal. All right, let's go ahead and go underneath the Urus because I have some good news if you're thinking about getting one of these. Ready for this? Right here. You can kind of see it. That is the transmission. It's an 8-speed made by none other than ZF. ZF is probably one of the most reliable transmissions on the market today. I would say they're probably the best. I have friends and I've heard of guys going 200,000-300,000 miles towing heavy with ZF transmission. So that is one good thing and probably the most reliable thing about this SUV. Now, as far as the service interval goes, I don't know what it is, but I will be doing a video on all the services on these, and I might even try to get pricing for you guys too. I'll try. Now, as far as the front and rear diffs and transfer case goes, that doesn't have to be dealt with, I think, for like 90,000 miles. So again, really good news on the drivetrain. Not a lot of maintenance for that. And sometimes with these transmissions, they give you lifetime like fluid. However, I would not go lifetime on any fluid on any car, especially something like this. So here's why I'm doing this video. Today, I did actually get my wheels back to get them mounted back onto the Lamborghini Urus. As I mentioned, this is a certified Lamborghini Urus. I can't remember the word that they use for their certification because, you know, they bougie at Lamborghini. They use some crazy Italian name for their certification. But unfortunately for Lamborghini in Denver, I guess my Lamborghini failed the certification process because they did not put the right tires on here. So I decided, since they were needing to get me new tires, so they bought me brand new tires for my Urus, which I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. And I was like, why did they have to do that? So the guys here in Salt Lake had told me, well, it's probably because the tires that they had on there were not the right ones. So let me show you something real quickly. If you are in the market for one of these Lamborghinis, just know this. You see right there? You see that little L right there? That L is Lamborghini. So these Pirelli tires, Lamborghini does not own Pirelli, but they have special tires for their Urus. And what the guy told me, his name was Kent at the Lamborghini store here in Salt Lake, he said, if you put the wrong tires on the Urus, it could throw a transmission light on the dash. So you can't cheap out and just buy any 285/35 23 for the front, and I think it's 325/30, I think it is. Yeah, 325/30 23 for the rears. You can't just go out and buy any tire, even if it's these Pirelli tires without that L on them. They could potentially throw a light because the tolerances are so tight with how they set this thing up that you could get a light on the dash. So you have to be very mindful when you're buying these used. I'm telling you guys, it's very, very important that you understand this. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you guys out back here because I wanna show you guys something really quickly. So I have the old tires in my trailer here. So I wanna show you guys. The guy told me to go home and look at these tires and see if they had an L on them. And he says that would pretty much answer the question this is why it basically failed for the certification process. So let's see here. I'm looking at the tire, and what do you know? That L is not on them. Now you guys see right here, these tires have probably maybe 5,000 miles on them. So in my mind, I'm thinking I could sell these for probably $1,500 because those tires in the garage cost. Had to doctor it up a little bit because my address is on here. So here we go. Right here. The front tires, $890 a piece. Total is $1,780. The back is $1,057 a piece. Total is $2,115. So I didn't have a tire recycling fee and a few other things on this. So all in for tires, $4,648.59. And here's what you have to understand. If you're buying a Lamborghini Urus, these things are heavy, right? And what I know is probably in about 10 to 15,000 miles, you're probably going to need new tires. So if you're someone who drives 15,000 miles a year, you could be buying these tires every year on something like this. So that's why I say, if you're buying this because you're seeing, maybe you make 150 grand a year, and you found a 2019 Lamborghini Urus, has 70, 80,000 miles on it, and you're thinking, I want to buy this thing. Well, you could get a transmission light on the dash if you have different wheels and tires. So if it has aftermarket wheels and tires, that could be an issue you run into. Also, you have to make sure that whoever owned it before you did do some of the maintenance on it. So we did check all that stuff on this one, and I may do some maintenance on this just as like fun for videos and things like that. But I don't know yet. We'll see. We're probably going to keep this for like 6 months, so I don't know if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on this thing for the time that we have it. So if I find a shop locally who wants to do some videos, maybe I'll do that, and I'll just pay for the supplies, they pay for the labor. So yeah, I think that for most people, these are really nice cars. I have to admit to you, I did not expect my wife to like this thing, and she loves this thing. We had a Lexus in the past, and we've had the Jeep Wagoneers, all great cars, but this right here has the feel of a sports car, but it has the comfort of like a Bentley. And I've only driven in Bentleys in the past, but I will say the way that this feels is tight. If you're going a $140, not saying I've ever done that, but I'm going pretty quick in this thing. It does feel really, really confident. I would say it's almost as good as a sports car. But I hope this video was helpful. I don't want to make it too long. As I said, if you are looking to buy one of these, they're really, really nice. But just understand the cost, right? I've been told in the past by really, really wealthy people, before you do anything, count the cost. That's how I know how much the brakes cost on this, because I checked the pads at the dealer and they still have a ton of life left. So whoever owned this thing, you know, it was probably driven by a woman. I'm not saying that men are bad drivers, but I can tell that whoever drove it did not drive this like for speed. They just drove it because it was cool. And my wife is the same way. Like, she's probably not going to ever heat these brakes up. They're probably going to be cold even when she's driving and braking, because she's just not a fast driver. So for the most part, I can't imagine us ever having, in the 6 months that we potentially own this thing, have any issues for like expensive maintenance costs. But yeah, even with 30,000 miles, 5 years old, this thing holds up really well. And I'm really happy that we'll have a chance to own something like this, because this is a really nice experience. I've driven a lot of cars in the past, and this one has probably been the first time in my life where I was like, wow, I really understand why people buy this. It's not about the badge on the front. It's really about the experience. And that's what Lamborghini wants you to know. When you buy their car, you're not just buying it for this badge. Well, we are kind of buying it for the badge, but you're really buying it for the experience. Like the rear steering that this thing has, the big brakes. This thing will throw you out the windshield, and that's not exaggerating. It could potentially do that because it's so powerful. What are those 6-piston brakes? Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little sick today, but yeah, I got to get these tires on. As I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and be sure to thumbs it up if you like for me to do a video for like maintenance. And like I said, I could break it down, and maybe I can ask a dealer if they can just give me just a quick price quote for every item, just as like a roundabout to give you an average. Every dealership's a little different. And I was told by one of the Lamborghini dealerships, not obviously one here in Salt Lake, but the one elsewhere, that someone did tell me you could take this to Audi and it's like almost half the cost to get some of the maintenance done. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but for me personally, we might put like 7,000 miles on it, and then maybe I might do an oil analysis. So stay tuned for that. I would like to see the state of the oil after a few thousand miles. That would be a good video, right? Later.